So let's start. What was your question? You kept saying you want to ask that question to her.
Well, everybody knows who you guys are, right? You guys
I don't
need an
know.
introduction?
Yeah.
I think we do. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Who are we?
Well, who are you?
Okay, I'm Nicole with Hot Mod Agency, and we've interviewed before, but I run an influencer marketing agency here in Central Florida, and recently, became partners with Grant, and now we're running with the Influencer Academy.
And Grant, who are you?
I'm Grant Sparks. People mostly know me from Spark Sites, but they don't know my entrepreneur coaching from State of the Spark as much. I just have a passion for training people. And like our mission is igniting lives of explosive significance. And we've been doing that in a lot of ways. But when I encountered Nicole's mission, do you know your mission? What has been your mission?
Well, my mission started and still really is helping moms and families create a supplemental income through content creation services, through influencer marketing. So and that continues to be really like the stronghold through both of our missions, because they both answer the question, how do I add value to people's lives? And so that's what we continue to do through the multiple ventures that we're going on.
That's exactly what you described in our first conversation.
Right.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I tagged onto that because from the website company side, we watched small businesses and their marketing quite closely. And most marketing is not affordable. You scroll through Instagram and Facebook and they have all these marketing suggestions. And you go to the average small business owner and you look at their budget. And it's like, they couldn't execute this if they tried. They're barely bringing an average income home. I think the SBA says the average business brings home $58,000 a year, which is barely the average salary. So when they say, pay for these ads, go to these conferences, network with these people, it's like, that's cute, but I can't afford it. Content marketing and what influencers are doing is accessible to everyone. So it's not just influencers. We're starting to talk about it as creators, because even small business owners you're a content creator. You may or may not consider yourself an influencer, and so I saw writing on the wall for my small businesses. And then when I heard her mission, she's a mission-driven organization, and she has a huge awareness of what's going on in marketing and what's going on in content creation and influencers. I said, okay, this is a solution that my clients, my average small business owners, can attach to. And so that just makes sense. And especially as we train, like my passion to train entrepreneurs, I try to make sure that every element of the business is approachable at any budget. And I think content creation and influencer.
Well, you wrote a book too, didn't you? What was your book on?
A few.
Your most recent one?
I guess the one you might be referring to is the Top 100 Dream Igniter, which is a goal-setting book. And it's basic. I should rebrand it. It's basically a goal-setting book for people with ADHD. It's kind of my own process to handle that. So I do have that book, but it's a little older, and I've written others back in the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know about that one book, I hope.
Dude, you wrote a book.
Yeah.
I haven't written a book. Have you written a book?
No.
I can't
no,
imagine the work.
No, it's not. It's another one of our
goals,
yeah,
our projects.
another one of our goals or
Especially if
projects.
you've written more than one.
Yeah, since he knows how
man.
to do it. Let's go.
Let's go,
Yeah.
man.
So what Influencer Academy, how did you guys come up with Influencer Academy? And what exactly is it?
Yeah, so in Central Florida, I've hosted multiple workshops at Catapult, and there's just a demand from the community to learn how to be content creators and to learn how to be influencers for multiple reasons, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or it's just somebody who's like, I want to have my own business, and I see influencer marketing as a way to do that. So we've already been hosting it, and then we were like, we need to get this online. So then we developed the Influencer Academy platform, which is a membership. And we have upwards of 40 members right now. And we're constantly feeding this community with updates, resources. And then best of all, they're feeding each other because they all bring their own level of expertise. And so we have business owners in there. Local business owners, we have creators, and we have realtors, and so the main goal is we're all really looking to build our social media platforms and learn from each other, and that's exactly what's happening. But one of those things is the outreach and having in real life events, and so the best thing to do is pick a date and announce it to everybody so you can't back out, and that's what August 3rd is about. We're going to have our first in-person Influencer Academy workshop where we will train and educate people on how to either get paid collabs, start getting paid collabs, or get their next paid collab. And a paid collab is a brand partnership with a business or brand or a travel resort or tourism board. So the infrastructure, the system is the same, but it's giving them the tools to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic step forward, because I've never heard of anybody or anything that would teach people, because this my daughter, she's like, when she was 15 and 16, she was an influencer and makeup and stuff, and she didn't even know it. Now she's 18. Now she wants to be more of an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so anybody who wants to start learning from the very bottom and learn up, you've got this nice new academy.
You said the key word there, which is we've got to shift the mindset of I'm an influencer to I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And so that's part of our mission too, is you can make this work. You just need to have the tools, and that's where the toolkit comes in, like basic business tools like Google Docs or Excel spreadsheets to track, the people you want to work with, to having a proposal, to having an invoice. It sounds like the basics, but a lot of people don't know that's where they need to start to set up their business. So we give them those tools, we teach them how to use them, and then they enter into these partnerships feeling confident and prepared. And that's half the battle with most of them, with most people.
Yeah. So if you're just out there doing your thing, having fun, and you're enjoying it, and you're getting, I guess, subscriptions, and people are seeing your stuff, why not take the next step and start making a few bucks doing what you're doing?
Right.
You may get free revenue from people trying out. My daughter got this thing from TikTok. Now she's doing makeup, and she's going to get paid when someone buys something. So commissions and all that.
There's so many ways to make money online.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to monetize, and you're exactly right. It goes from like, this is fun, to like, oh wait, I could make money at this, and then all of a sudden the mindset changes, and then they go, oh well, how do I make money like this? And that's, I think, where we come in.
That's
Yeah.
right. And so, how long is your course? Is it you said it's going to be August 3rd, your first?
Oh, that one.
The workshop, the in-person workshop, our curriculum could probably serve a full day, but we are debating on how much time people will actually commit. So it's like, is it going to be a 9 to 12, and then we break for lunch and then come back and maybe finish up and maybe do some more like like one-on-one learning. I'm not sure yet, but for sure it's going to be 9 to 12. I just don't know if we'll do a full day. I think is what we're still.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot, and we're finding that a lot of the other people like us in the community that are training influencers, honestly, things like pitch proposals and templates, they're a dime a dozen. Like, a lot of these influencers can just go to Canva, format something, they buy it from Etsy, and here you go. And it's hollow. And so they go through this material, they put it together, and then they ask themselves, wait, now what? Like, what do I put in my email template? With Nicole's experience in the industry, we actually show them how to format that email in a way that the brand can actually receive. And it's similar with the pitch proposal, how to structure your deals. Sure, you can go to Canva and get a proposal template. And all of our competitors, if you actually look at their material, they're charging like $1,000 for this.
Holy crap!
But they're literally templates that they bought on Etsy, and it's embarrassing. It's shallow. But because most of them don't have the industry experience that Nicole does, and so when people come into our orbit, you can go learn how to create a TikTok elsewhere. You can learn how to do the best shot with your camera and get the audio correct somewhere else. What we're there to do is get them to their first paid collab within 30 days or less, or their next paid collab. Maybe they got lucky. Maybe your daughter got lucky and not just got a bunch of makeup, but also got paid. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. How do I do that again?
Right.
We try to make it a predictable business model. So I say all that to say, we're trying to deliberate, should we do a half day or full day? Because there is a paradigm shift that we're trying to help our creators have, where they sit back and go, oh, this is super cool. I can, get paid collabs. But actually make the shift of go, wait, I can make real money doing, like, I could create my own voice in a variety of ways and create not just like token monies and creator fun from TikTok's great, but how many views are you gonna need to go make 60 a year? It's a lot, it's a lot.
Like years.
But brand deals could tilt that much differently. We have influencers that have less than 10,000 followers, and they have a full-time income from that.
Right.
So we're trying to decide what Saturday should look like in order to imbue as much of that into them.
Sounds
as
like your
possible.
daughter should attend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds good.
There you go.
Like really, she sounds like she's right at that mark where she's taking her career seriously and she wants to learn to treat it like more like a business, and that's the ideal student at this point.
And the TikTok shop itself, like, I know all the politics around TikTok and all the drama. We have never seen a better platform ever for the algorithm. Works like none other.
Right.
I mean, and there's an idea of an interest graph versus a social graph. And if anyone spends any time on TikTok and gets over some of the headlines, they'll realize that the feed is second to none. But on top of that, the TikTok shop, the TikTok creator shop for people like your daughter, that there's nothing like it anywhere, like in any other social platform.
That's why so many people want to get rid of it. It's too good.
Yeah.
That's
The
probably
politics
true.
and all that crap.
Yes.
You're competing with Google now, and you're
Yeah.
competing with Twitter and all that.
We just read an article that 35 and younger, over 40% of all consumers, and this is from Google did this research. Google published this research. Consumers 35 and younger, regardless of location or gender, 40% of them are shopping for services and products now, specifically on Instagram and TikTok. You and I would boot up Google and say, where do we get the best necklace?
Right.
You know, instead they would go, and they're not just looking at creators, they're just looking to see what are the last 30 posts on that one necklace I like or that one hat I like. And they're shopping from that right now. And 40% is a huge number.
Yeah.
And it's tilting. And so
Even
when
business services like plumbing and like
Literally.
basic stuff,
Literally.
they're like, I want to see if they have a TikTok or an Instagram, and because I'll learn more about the business through their content than I will through their Google reviews.
And
sometimes.
customers put on there, hey, he's fantastic. He did
Right.
exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And someone will see an unbiased opinion.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly
So
right.
I was in the locker room. I don't know if I told you this story this morning or not. I was in the locker room and ran into an LEDC member. I won't name them,
Yeah.
but they were talking about their business. And I asked them, what's the biggest challenge they're facing right now? And he said, labor, hands down. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I love the millennial generation. And he listed, you know, they're very good this, and this way. He said, but since COVID, I can't get people to walk in the door. And I'm not talking about work ethic issues. I'm literally talking about they won't take the job. We bring in, he said, we bring in about 10 a week for new hires at their manufacturing plant. By the end of the week, we keep one on the averages. And I said, how's your social media? He said, well, that's irrelevant. I said, no, it's not. Millennials and younger will shop for jobs
Yes.
based on the culture they see portrayed in that social content.
We just went into, I think it was the Rotary, and we'll do lunch and learns for like Rotary and Kiwanis. And one of the issues that I think the director of communications for the Polk County Sheriff's Office was facing was recruiting.
That's exactly.
And we've seen positive case studies for the culture, like posting to social about the culture of some of the firehouses or the police force that increased recruiting by like tenfold. And so we started talking to him about it, and he's like, our basic marketing is just not not doing anything for our recruitment. And it's only through social media that you can create a culture where people get excited about something that traditionally they may not have ever even been exposed to. Like a lot of times you become a cop or a firefighter because your dad was one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually the only way in. It's not usually through some empowering story unless they run like a campaign once a year, where social media is all year long. And all you really have to do is tell the story of the camaraderie inside the firehouse or inside one of the like classes, like what is it, like a boot camp to get like a police training. I mean, it wouldn't take too much to do that, to tell the story, but that is how people are finding their careers.
Yeah,
They get
social media is
enthralled with it.
growing so
Yeah.
freaking fast.
Absolutely.
And I predicted when we were talking about this in January, I think, we're going to start talking less and less about the term influencer and talk more and more about the term creator, content creator. Because what we're finding is even in Influencer Academy, there's a large representation of small business owners. We, you know, in some ways I'm kind of like, oh, Influencer Academy, it's kind of puts small business owners off. It's influencers and all the baggage that comes with that.
Yeah.
But any savvy small local business has their ears up and says, hey, how do I get in? So we have a few small business owners in, and they're watching the content, and yes, the marketing for Influencer Academy is around getting a first paid collab. But small business owners are paying attention because they want to know how to work with influencers.
Right.
Because you don't have to, like this manufacturing example or the sheriff's department, they don't necessarily, the joy or the pleasure for them when as it comes to influencer work and social media, they don't have to necessarily fire up and now have a new department of influencers in their marketing. They can reach out to an influencer doing it, and we'll pick a local influencer with 50,000 followers and do a day in the life of a police officer, or a ride along. And then that person is responsible for producing the content. Think of how much Grady actually pays to create a commercial. What if instead an influencer was responsible for that? They collabed on their account, and the reach that would have locally, it costs the police department nothing but a day. And now they get this amplification of content, so it's like a win-win for both parties.
Yeah.
And so we call it influencer work, but our interests are starting to, and Hot Mod still reaches business to business, because you cannot shake a stick at the actual metrics. A great number that we've shared, the metrics of ROI on ad spend. The average ad has a 1% click-through rate, like just an ad. Come join the sheriff's department, get recruited.
Right.
But if a person, an influencer, did a reel.
And now let's give some context to influencer, because it could be a person in the community that's known.
Yeah.
It can be a sort of ambassador. There's like
Mayor Mutz, or
everybody has their own people that are following them.
Correct. So when we're using the term influencer, yes, we're referring to people with like a following and have an influence on online, but there's also community influencers.
That's right.
And so sometimes businesses can get caught up in that, or even
Chris McLaughlin, Gate Arty, any of the real estate people with a small following,
that is an authority in their space can be an influencer. So
and they can partner, and if they did that same video for Grady, he'll spend, let's say, $2 or $3 grand for a marketing company to push that one ad, and they'll get a 1% click-through rate.
Right.
They might spend for this nano influencer $500 to $1,000, but their click-through rate is 4 to 8%.
Right. Yeah, it's so economical, and I think that's what businesses, travel resorts, tourism boards, many of them know.
They see it,
but small
it's
business,
verifiable.
Yeah, but there's a lot of still like small business owners that don't understand that it's there's a lot of really great opportunities to make this part of their marketing strategy, and not only benefit from the high ROI, but also how neat is it that you're working with a local and supporting a local like business, their own another small business that is again supporting our economy overall. It's just the benefits are
and it's an amplification of your audience, and it's a humanization of your brand. So a lot of these companies on the B2B side, a lot of them, think of your local AC company, most of them are not savvy to this, and they're old heads. You know, and God bless them, they've brought a lot of economy to Lakeland.
A lot of them are young heads, but they're
starting to be young heads.
Yeah, I know, like a lot of them are like left those AC companies, and they're doing some things right, but yeah, they definitely aren't like, they're still kind of stuck.
And they're scratching their head like, what does this do for me? Like, how am I, you know, they might be doing okay in terms of revenue, but to have a marketer in their minds, to hire a marketer internally, pay them $50 to $60 a year to do TikToks, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Enter the local creator, the nano creator, and it's like, no, it's a thriving ecosystem where we can humanize your brand.
Yeah.
You know, we'll come out and show you fixing, and we know how to do the influencer knows how to make this creative and fun, and that humanizes you. So you're not just some obtuse AC truck that shows up, and you have had this angst of the electrician or the AC truck show up, and you're like, I don't know you don't know me, we try to be chummy, welcome into my house. You know,
you're anticipating the bill, or how is this service call going to be? Yeah.
It sounds like the dollar that a small business person, instead of going through, like you said, the marketing team, it seems like if you could get this nano influencer, not only does it duplicate because these different platforms, but it almost like exponentially. Because if you can take the same $10, you're not going to get that for one thing. For $10, you're not going to get any marketing company to do anything for you. For $10, for someone who's got 2,000 or 5,000 followers, you'll exponentially get that out there. So it's a way of micro investing in yourself, if you will.
And it removes the middleman.
Yes.
So like, what did you do professionally? You were a repairman.
Maintenance.
So back in the day, you might pick any one of the local marketing companies, I'm sure you could list a few, and they'll say, we'll run an ad spend. And they'll come up with an ad budget. You go, man, I don't have a lot. They'll go, okay, let's say $2 grand. what's going to be their management fee?
Yeah.
It's usually 20%.
Yeah, $1,200 to $1,500,
Boom.
right?
Exactly.
I never even
just
heard
for
of
them-
this.
Just for them
Say that
to
again. A management what?
So
Yeah.
if you want to run ads on social media today and you have a repair company, this marketer will sit down like this and they'll go, what's your budget for running ads to make sure that people see your ad?
Mhm.
You'll say $1,200 on average. And they'll go, okay,
This is a month.
per month. And they're going to say it's a minimum of 3-month commitment. So you're in it for 12 times 3, right? $3,600. And they'll say our management fee in that case is usually what? $250 to $300.
Yeah.
And that's
Or
not,
more.
that's in addition to the 1,200 that you're.
Yeah.
Or it comes out of the ad budget. So your ad budget might be $1,200, and they say, well, no problem, it's $200. So you're really only spending $1,000 on ads and $200 on them managing it. When you have an influencer, especially a nano influencer, what are the rates for local nano influencers range?
Anywhere from like $150 to $1,000.
We did a spot with me at GNC for like $250.
Yeah.
And so you're spending that. You've done that. Who's managing it? The influencer. Who's doing the creative? The influencer. So you went from spending $1,200 for 3
Who's
months.
executing it?
Execute the influencer.
Influencer.
They're just tagging Don's repair company
Yeah.
as a collab. And so instead of spending $3,600 minimum plus $600 that went just to management, you now have this influencer who's paid for $150 to $200. Now, if you even had that money, that original 36, you could literally just spend that on blasting that out there
And get better results.
and get better
Right.
results.
If you just took the creative, they're just like, here's the video. Now you have
There you
a
go.
more effective video than I think any marketing company could
Big
put
time.
together.
This is changing the world.
So,
Yeah.
so this is the shift we're seeing, and this is why we built the platform, because we think influencers are underselling themselves.
And or they don't have the business acumen, so they're losing opportunities because they don't know how to take a cold pitch to go. The business goes, hey, I am interested, and they're like, oh my god, what do I charge? What do I send next? What do I do?
I can relate.
Yeah, you don't know what to do next. It's a simple next step, like send a proposal with your services. Well, what are my services? What is my cost? What are my rates? So we're solving all of that before they start pitching or before they pitch the next person, so they understand how to go from the next step and to close the deal, and it benefits the business owner and is a fair, just price
Now,
versus.
do you guys, if someone was to hire you, this is separate from the academy. Are you guys available for hire?
For training.
So there's a couple of things. So HotMod is B2B. So we offer consulting to businesses. We can build out, like if you said, I want my company to have their standalone influencer program, so we can hire our own influencers. We can set up a business to have an influencer program. So that would take maybe 30 days, and then they can start out like vetting and doing that. Or they could say, I want you to take care of this every single month. And so they can hire HotMod to, like, very similar to what we did, recruit an influencer that best fits their business, take them through the contract process, negotiate deliverables. Deliverables are like post content, and then reporting, then offer reporting. So we can do all of it. It's like a done for you. Or we can train staff and we can educate staff to do their own. And then we also obviously work with Visit Central Florida, which is our local tourism board. And we can work with multiple tourism boards and do the very same thing. It's the same process, but we take care of it all because we're so intimately integrated in the influencer space, from having our own membership and platform, from doing this for the past 4 years.
Yeah, and you guys can be a resource. They take your course, and I'm sure you guys would support them even after that. You guys answer questions anytime they contact you. So it's not just one time. You guys are ongoing assisting.
Right.
Yeah, there's custom solutions like you're saying, and that's kind of done for you. And then we do it. The do it together tier is really us equipping them. We might hold their hands for a few months, but the real end game is they have an internal sense of, oh, I kind of get, even shooting my own content. If you could get someone off the jitters of just recording themselves and knowing how to just get decent audio, honestly, I don't know if you paid attention at all, but like the Instagram move actually created a lot of intimidation when Instagram first came out. It was very intimidating because it was all beautiful photos, beautiful people, perfectly
Very curated.
Very curated.
Yeah.
So TikTok and ByteDance at the time came out. And in the early days, I don't know when it was Musical.ly and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it was very.
The Vine? Was it Vine and
No,
then
no,
Musical.ly?
no, it was never Vine. It
Oh,
was
okay.
it was
It was Musical.ly.
owned by Binance. It was Musical.ly, and then it got bought and turned into TikTok. The main thing was how amateur it looked, and the younger people, young millennials and Gen Z, it was a reaction in Gen Z to the perfectionism of Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of us boomers or Gen Xers, we're still got this thing in our mind that I gotta know exactly what to say.
Right.
I gotta be perfect. It's gotta be curated. And we're finding like, no, that the marketing signals is anyone home? Is the video, can I just see someone's face
Mm-hmm.
on a grid for the services? Like if I'm buying a repairman service and I check Instagram, is there just a video, even of just Dawn being Dawn? Not putting on a show, just going, hey, I'm checking out this one unit. We think we found that the fuse is blown. I'm going to switch this out real quick. Let me show you what I'm doing. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's reassuring to see that.
And we love that training side, because the aha moment of someone going, oh wait, it's just on camera, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not curated.
Everything can be content
Mm-hmm.
that you're willing to make content. Everybody's everyday life. It's hard to swallow the fact that you can, like, that you're leading an interesting life and that other people want to see that, but that's usually the most engaging content.
And I think that's actually why we love partnering.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, I don't know for a few, but I think it's true. The aha moment that my life is worth recording, there's something more existential than just marketing here.
Mm-hmm.
When you see someone go, when you did your podcast and thought, I'm just a retiree, what the heck am I doing? Now I've got the I Am Lakeland brand.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody, and we were talking off camera, it's still hard for you to kind of swallow that sometimes. For you to even value that enough to sell it is still a struggle that you were admitting to off camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, you have something worth value. And I think what I love, because from my personal development background, and you saw this with mothers, your average life is worth sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And people do care, and people do want to see it.
Yes.
And I think, like, for all of the stuff we're talking about, back of all of it, that's the fulfillment, I think.
Yeah.
At least I derive, and I think I've seen you derive as well.
What crosses my mind along those lines is digital is going to be around forever.
Oh, it
is. So if you create the content, it's forever.
Right.
You know, analog, if I can go back to the old dial telephone, people don't remember, kids don't know what a dial telephone is, and all I can do is see videos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the future is everything from here on out is going to be recorded.
Oh, yeah.
You called it a dial tile?
Dial phone?
A dial phone.
Yeah. I hadn't heard it called that term.
Oh.
A dial phone?
Well, that's a misspoke.
I thought, I thought you said dial tile.
Dial telephone?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a long time ago, man.
You know, what you're getting at is it's Web 2.0. Web 1.0, there were just publishers. And this was like some of us old heads remember like Yahoo, and it would just publish lists. Then Internet 2.0 is this interface of like, we can generate content, right? So there's something coming, and we won't even unpack it here, but part of the reason I was involved, you're smirking because I'm thinking about crypto.
Is that 3.0?
Web 3.0 is crypto, and what we know is this thing, I don't know if you've ever heard the term Ethereum, it's the next internet. And the thing about it, you mentioned digital, the thing about it is it's an immutable record. No one can twist the record.
Blockchain.
Blockchain, yeah, we've talked about crypto a little bit, but without getting weird into the weeds with them, the fact that everything is permanent, the generation that we come from, that's kind of a scary thought. The new generation coming up, it's a service, it's a feature, not a bug. For them to be able to search their history and go, no, for certain I was here at this time. If you look at your Google Maps and think, where was I on that one day? When we're trying to remember when we first partnered, what was that first thing we partnered? I was like, I don't know. For us to be able to say for certain, this is what it was. There's a feature that comes out of that, not a bug. And I think a lot of people had stage fright for a long time.
Doesn't it create a public record where it's always accessible from now on? My great grandkids could see this interview if I got it on blockchain and say, oh, did you put in the date or whatever?
Ancestry will start being built that way.
Yes.
Because right now it's like written logs of when they came over on the boat.
Literally.
And it's like they count the children.
That's what 23andMe and Ancestry.com are trying to do.
I did
I'm
that
in
for
both.
2 years. I studied and I put my family research on Ancestry.
Okay.
I did the DNA. I did all. I even went to gravestones. I went made
Did
a
you go
trip.
did you log it and like add it?
Oh yeah, I did it all.
Oh, they
if
must
you go,
have
if you
loved
look,
you.
oh, they still do.
Yeah.
I still see stuff.
It's fun.
The people are.
It's like a scavenger
They're like, oh, look what I
hunt.
found.
Yeah.
Well, they changed the name. Well, it was my source.
Yeah.
It's my source. That picture is my picture.
Yeah.
They changed the name on it, and they think they're doing something. I
Check
was
this
way
out.
of
This will
man.
trip you out. There's a website called the Wayback Machine.
it. Of course, I know it well.
Okay,
What?
most people don't know this. You can see the past iterations of nearly all websites because the Wayback Machine has a little piece of software that crawls the internet and takes a snapshot of the website at that time. So if someone said, my website went down, I had it a year ago, how could I recreate it? It's like, what kind of question? How do I help you?
Yeah.
Most people don't know. You go to waybackmachine.com and type, you can see the old landing
Funny,
page.
'cause
And it's old. Like you go and there's some old designs
Wow.
there.
fun
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I
because
bet.
I had a website, I had a directory called menusofamerica.com and menusoftheworld.com.
You've always been an entrepreneur.
If you go
Yeah.
to way back, you put in menusofamerica.com, it'll come up, and
Yeah.
you'll see me back in 2003,
Nice.
where I put restaurant menus in each state and every
Wow.
restaurant,
That's a good business.
and then Google came along
Yeah, stopped it.
and
Yeah.
entered it. And then you can even put in I am Lakeland.
Yeah.
I put the menu board on the left hand side. It's funny. But yeah, you can go way. I love that way back.
I love it. And this feature is coming up more and more that you can really see. I think people are starting to geek out. And I think I call it we're out of the information age. We're in the omniscience age. And I think in some ways, creators and influencers are basically the eyeballs and the earballs of the new species because they're constantly capturing.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
You can always go back and go, someone was recording this at some point, so let's go get truth. And for me, I geek out about we're in the
do too.
omniscience age,
Yeah.
man. People can know everything. And also, I think that's also what a lot of small business owners fear. I don't know about what you think, but a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid of being found out. They're afraid of being found out that they feel like a fraud quite often. They feel like they don't want to share the struggle. But we have found that the opposite is true. When we call it building in the open.
Yes.
We often recommend entrepreneurs start their content by just saying, here's where I'm at, here's an update. I'm trying to build this show. I'm trying to build this agency. And here's what we've learned. And people are learning from that. It's called BIDO, Build in the Open.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. Go ahead. What was that thought?
Well, a lot of creators were also, there are also people who have corporate jobs or backgrounds, degrees. And so you kind of forget that. You kind of put them in this creator box, but they come with such a variety of backgrounds that you just don't know who can chime in and offer their own knowledge. And that's what I like about these kind of like these group effects is like, oh, I used to be a corporate HR recruiter, or I still am a CMO or CEO of a company, and I do this creator thing on the side, and they're giving us business advice. So it's a two-way street. Even though we're the ones that are bringing the people together, we're there to learn just as much as they are. We just offer our own level of expertise in this specific subject. But man, building a business is really, we're learning a lot and taking in a lot just from our community.
If you would have asked me in 2008 when I'm at Watson Clinic, okay, and I'm unclogging this toilet, if someone would have come up to me and say, hey Don, I got something for you. In 2024, you're going to have a website called I Am Lakeland, and you're going to be a content creator. And I'm like, what? Get the hell out of here! Get the hell. So who would have thought that a maintenance man would have been someone who creates content in the future? I was like,
that's such the beauty of it is like anybody can be a creator when they decide that their life is worth documenting and they want to share it, or that their business is worth documenting, and they can change their whole life around.
Yeah.
And they can even make money from it. So I think it's a beautiful story, and a lot of the passion for me comes when I was 18. I thought I went and worked at a call center to make money. Being an entrepreneur was like so far from my thought. Like you're saying, like someone's gonna, like, you're gonna own a business one day. I was like, yeah, right. I'm always gonna work for the man. That is literally what you do when you get out of school.
I love that, the man.
Yeah, you're always gonna do that, and I was okay with that. I thought you get an apartment, you go out, and you wake up and you work. And so what I love now is I can tell an 18-year-old right now, you can be a business owner and make money. Do you have to have the same work ethic, and do you have to defy the odds? Sure, but every business does. But the opportunity is there, and it wasn't there when I was 18.
Right.
So exactly, like if somebody told me you're gonna own an influencer business, not even 10 years ago, I'm like, well, one, I'd be like, what the hell's an influencer?
Yeah.
Well, and what's more is that we're learning that being a creator, using these tools, these phones,
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to even use these mics, we'll see if they
Yeah.
work. These are literal extensions of just who we are. What I mean is this: we have done the Hot Spark Show, which is our show for the marketing.
I'm a
industry.
fan. I'm a
LinkedIn,
subscriber.
Yeah.
Like, we've interviewed people with 300,000 followers. We've interviewed the VP of marketing for all of Columbia. These people have big followings. And when they ask us for advice, we think you're a creator with a big following, you've made it, you understand content creation. No, if you actually look, they just understand that thing. Carissa's the one I'm thinking of, and she is a phenomenal travel content creator. Now, what she really knows is travel. She happens to use her eyes and ears, the phones and the mics, very well. And so what I'm realizing is everyone is a content creator. Everyone is. You're either doing it well or you're doing it poorly.
And you're either getting paid or not getting paid.
And these are the apparatuses of future humans. My ability to capture and share, listen and share. That's the human nature. That's us sitting around a campfire.
Yeah.
The stories of today, but it's real time.
Yeah.
And then what we realize is you could be that 18-year-old kid and go, well, no, let me just capture my life. And you won't necessarily make money from just capturing your life. What you realize quickly as a creator is, I need to niche down. Wait, you mean you need to go master a skill? Yeah, and you need to go figure out how to communicate that skill.
Find what you like, your hobbies.
This has been part of the human journey for thousands of years. We're just
Yeah.
using a different apparatus.
Yes.
And so for me, when they have this aha, I can't geek out enough about, they just found a new set of ears and eyes to learn the same lesson. I've got to go master something. I got to go add value to other people's lives, and I got to articulate it somehow.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the time that you're working for the man, all that time you're working hard, you're putting your effort into them, and they're taking that money home. They're the ones who's making the profit.
That's right.
You can do it for yourself. All that time and that effort that you're taking care of, your corporate job, do it for yourself now.
Right.
You can bring that in for yourself.
Right.
Have you
And
seen
that's
this
what this is
guy,
allowing us to do.
Hubs.life? Have you seen this guy?
Mm-mm.
I think
I think
so.
we've talked about it. This guy still works for the man. I think he has 1.5 million followers.
Damn.
All he does is capture his mundane life.
Oh, this guy.
This
yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
he's
he packs his laptop into his backpack, puts it on, makes his coffee.
And people pay.
literally, and he goes into a cube and he'll show his little cube.
Yep.
And he works for as like an insurance adjuster or something like this.
Yeah.
He has a humongous following. He's been interviewed by Gary Vee. He's gone to all the conferences, but he keeps his business life, and his mission is to show people it's okay and fulfilling to live a normal life.
Yeah.
And so you're right, like you could go to work for the man and that just be your life and hate it, or you could turn what other people's has turned into an enemy into your asset. And that's what content creation allows.
That's the creativity.
Create the value for yourself as
Right.
opposed
That's
to
right.
someone
Yeah,
else.
he gets deals with I think he likes to drink beer.
I think
or
it's
bourbon or something.
Miller
he,
Lite. No, it's one of the light beers.
Yeah,
It's-
he drinks a super basic.
the basic.
He's
Yeah.
like the most.
What's this guy's
He's
name?
glorifying the
His
basic
handle's
life.
like hubs.life, I think. And
Yeah.
it's like the life of an
But
average
he's
husband.
Wow.
getting deals with I think he likes a bourbon, so he got to deal with the bourbon
Yep.
brand, and then I don't know if he has a beer brand yet,
They
but
just
they
had
should.
a baby, and so they did a baby moon together somewhere
Yeah.
with a travel
I mean,
deal.
it's-
You know, I heard something. I think it was on TikTok. I was flipping. Oh, it was Gary Vee who made this statement. He's predicting that people are going to be paying. You're going to have a camera in your home, and they're going to be watching you do the mundane.
Yeah.
It was Gary Vee.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
called
was.
Twitch.
Yeah. If you go to Twitch right now, you'll see this.
Oh, it is.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, no, but to the degree to which Gary is talking, I do
Yeah.
believe has yet to unfold. But the first vestige of this is Twitch. Like we messed with Twitch.
I don't even know what Twitch is.
It started as a gaming platform, and then if you picture what people love, what the gaming culture loves, is the banter, the community. So they have their little faces down in the lower right hand corner. They're playing a video game. They're down here. And then it started to evolve that, the mom walks through the background with a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, I
and this
see.
very normal life stuff started coming through. So then they're like, well, let's just broadcast our game. So now they're broadcasting the game. Not only are they seeing and razzing each other, now there's a public watching them beat this game, but then they're like seeing very normal life stuff, and it started to grow and grow. Twitch comes along and sees, and Twitch was vastly different when it first started as a startup. It wasn't anything like this. But they found that people like to watch other people do gaming, and that felt very normal. And now there's entire Twitch channels of someone working out. Literally, they're just lifting. And we've seen there's 3,000 people live watching them just like work out. And then there's one gal who has hundreds of thousands of people watch her sleep. It's fully clothed.
Yeah, there's nothing salacious about either of these things, which
They're
is what we
just-
were looking at each other like, so she just works out.
Yeah.
Or
Like
this
a
guy just
normal
works out.
gym, a girl at the gym.
And so
like,
it's already happened, especially in Asian cultures. Like there's a huge Asian following in Twitch and some of the other platforms we've been looking at lately, like School, which is different. But we're seeing this come into the States where people, I think, are comforted.
yes.
Well,
They're
to
comforted.
me, what pops up in my mind is the cultural differences. Like you say, in Asia,
Ooh, yeah.
they don't see what we do, and we don't see what they do.
Yes.
Maybe
That could be
China.
interesting.
That's
It's
right.
the cultural difference where they say,
Yeah.
you guys got a freaking cabinet in your kitchen?
Right.
What?
Why isn't there a washer and dryer?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or something.
So it's the
different,
cultural
yeah.
difference
I
that
like
people
that.
may be enjoying.
I can definitely see
Yeah,
that.
like well, and this is the glut of information. Like right now, I think as a species, we're adjusting to total information. Like right now, we'll have this conversation. This will get posted, or we'll post a summary or a clip within 12 to 24 hours. Which, given past historical times that a new thought occurred, maybe you heard something that was new, maybe I heard you say something new. It would take weeks, if not years, for that new thought to hit mass society.
I agree.
Mhm.
Right now, this will happen in 12 hours. So the ideation is traveling quickly. So the young generation is going, I have all knowledge right now, all human knowledge.
That's what I'm trying to understand about my kids. They have that, but I can't comprehend.
And I think what they're experiencing is they don't literally have the meat. Their brain has not evolved. Humans, us,
Well, you said it's an omissions error where they're actually trying to filter stuff out because
That's
it's
right.
coming at them too fast.
that's right.
I have attention overload myself
Yeah.
sometimes.
So can you imagine it's been going on
Yes.
for years already? By the time they're 16 or 18, they've already been inundated since they were 12. So they have like 8 years of extra information before they even graduate high school.
You're right.
So
Like
it's
when we used to fantasize as kids, we're 90s babies or older, right? And when we used to think about the world, we're like, we'd open up an Encyclopedia Britannica in the early days, right?
yeah.
And the internet was still coming online.
Magazines.
We'd come up with dream boards on magazines and be like, I could only go to Europe, you know? And like, it was unimaginable. It was there was so much discovery that we craved knowledge. And so much so that we would get on a boat or a plane and it would cost several years worth of savings. And we would go, I finally took that trip to Europe.
Yeah, or you can watch a TikTok that goes to Europe and you're like, oh, I guess I've kind of been there now.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
And
So
you
you
watch
just
it.
mentioned one didn't mention.
Yeah.
You got the viewership.
Yep.
You can see it. It's video, audio. The only thing you're mentioning is actually being there.
Yeah.
So the
That's
catch,
incredible. I
So the
love
catch
that.
is that I believe that the longing that we had as 90 babies,
Mm-hmm.
pre-internet people, that longing created a goal-oriented nature.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation has all of it. And so I think they're having a massive existential crisis. I'm not going to point at social media and go boo-hoo. I think it's just our evolution. If that needs to be overcome, we need to steward them and we need to show them how to wonder. And you're really good at this with your boys, how to take them out, how to limit their screen time in the early days so that they continue to have this mechanism that's still discovery oriented. Instead of just, I wonder what it's like in Europe. TikTok, great, I know what it's like, I don't have to go. And it's like, well, time out, you have to go, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to go. And so how do we instill curiosity still? It's a challenge. I
Yeah,
really do
it's-
think it's a challenge, but I don't think it's insurmountable, and I don't think that means the tools we have are bad. I think we're just catching up.
Well, and then parents, we have a lot of young parents, early 20 something, that they did grow up with technology, so they themselves have struggle harnessing
Mhm.
and creating boundaries for it for themselves. So of
Yeah.
course they struggle with giving
Yeah.
to their kids.
But that makes them sensitive, and they're helping. I think they're seeking to help their kids balance
Agreed.
a lot better.
Yeah, since they're such a woke generation.
What were you
My
gonna say?
daughter had 6,000 followers on TikTok.
Nice.
I didn't even know she had an account.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't. She was
How
like
old is she?
15. Now she's 18.
She was how?
But when she was like 16,
Oh man.
she's got all these TikTok followers, and I didn't find out till she was 18.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like,
It's like Dad, I have a tattoo.
Yeah,
Dad, I've had a
and I
TikTok.
this is their
I didn't know
new
what to do.
version of that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
hard. What do
I
you
didn't
do?
even know.
Yeah.
It was just went shoo, right over my head.
But it was she had followers for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there were some, after I found out
Weirdos.
about
It
it,
is
some
scary.
weirdos. That's right.
Yeah, it is scary.
But I think everyone's got the weirdos, the creepers, and the haters, and that brings us back to like small business owners and haters and us feeling weird to be exposed. There's some people who even to this day are like, I don't like having my cell phone on or my SIM card on. I don't want them, whoever them is, to know where I'm at. And very long ago, I was like, listen, they always know where you're at, whoever that is.
Right, yeah.
So why don't we benefit? Why, instead of just whatever conspiracy these people think is going on with their information, living in fear. So you're saying they're benefiting and you're not. Why don't you just embrace it? Why don't you just go whole hog on digital data? Why don't you put your face everywhere so that you can benefit? And that's my current.
And
I
it
do
doesn't
think you have
matter
to
who you
unplug,
are.
but yeah.
If they want you, they'll find you.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had the phone book.
Yeah.
I could open up the phone book, I could walk down to your house and find out who you are.
Yeah.
Even today, there's somebody in China, there's somebody in Asia. They know Don Burns, and Google, you'll find it. My address.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
You're not going to hide.
No, so why not acclimate? Why not get used to it? There's people in our lives, both of our lives, who we know, who aren't even on, and that's okay too. Like that, step in enough to understand the tools, and if you want to go unplug, be a person in the woods, dude, by all means. But but don't do it out of fear. Expose yourself.
Right.
Get to know how it works and what's going on, and know. But I honestly think that in these coming decades, if you don't know how to wield the tools and share your story, especially as a business, because we saw a correlate of this in COVID. When COVID hit, I was working full on in my website company, and we thrived in COVID because a lot of people needed to go online. But one thing we saw is there were a lot of restaurants, local restaurants, that didn't have online ordering. And they didn't even know how to get into Google, their Google business listing, to activate online, because Google Business was offering free online ordering at the time. And now still, they didn't even know how to activate that. So we were calling around the local restaurants for days, and me and one of the guys out of Catapult, we were just dialing and saying, listen, we'll build you a free website. We will host it for free through COVID. And as soon as COVID's over, you'll come back and you'll pay for the hosting. We just want you to stay open. And I cannot tell you, we only sold one or two because they were petrified of the tools. And I can't tell you, when we think about social media now, I'm seeing the exact same parallel of a lot of the small companies. Medium-sized companies get it. Bigger companies definitely get
Individuals.
it. But the individuals are like, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to do it that way. And it's like, okay, I mean, you literally, you're saying now is the decline of my company. Like, sign that sheet. Now, whether or not you do business with us, if you do not engage with the tools, you are saying from here on out, I don't mind declining my company.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's how
You need to use every tool at your disposal to be successful.
Yeah.
and to talk to your potential clients.
I'll tell you a funny thing. Menus of America, when I had Menus of America back in 03, 04, I was the first one, I'm claiming this, okay, order by fax. Il Forno over here on the south side,
Yes.
I went over there and talked to them, and I put their order form on my site, and I tested it, and it worked, and the fax came out in their kitchen, and they were able to make it. And then, as usual, Google and all that thing, but you could order, and it come up and by fax over there in 2003.
Huge.
Did they get orders that way?
It never happened. It never happened.
but I like
My testing came through perfect. Worked great. He worked with me. I was like, okay. So when they hit submit, it dialed the phone number and come to their fax, and it would print
You were
out.
ahead of your time.
I was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
online
buddy.
ordering, DoorDash.
I'm
like
telling
it's-
you.
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
I had it going, baby.
Well,
Menus of the
unfortunately,
world. I had it,
Yeah.
man.
I think what's awesome about influencers is the onboarding for the average person. Like, just go back then. Il Forno's like, I'm not going to deal with it. And you basically created this bridge of, let me bring the tech to you. I think the reason I love the influencer work we're doing, and I think every small business needs to partner with them, is they're doing the heavy lifting. And it's for far less than paying a marketing company.
Oh yeah.
And you're learning along the way and building goodwill. To me, I cannot emphasize enough. I think creators and influencers are doing what you did with the facts.
Yeah.
Let me just put this in your hands,
Yeah.
and you can thrive.
The biggest barrier to getting started is capital and money. If you guys help them with a low amount of money, that's where, and you can just grow and grow
That's
and
a
grow.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
I think that's where that's at, man.
Yeah.
So we're proud to do it,
Well,
man.
fantastic. Well, tell me again when your
So we have a lot of stuff coming up. So
Yeah.
we host a quarterly influencer networking event, and every single event has grown, and we've done different things. So the last one we had panelists, and we had some business owners come in. This time we partnered with Destroyer Media, which is Haven Lakeland magazine, and Visit Central Florida, because they are announcing a Polk County Burger Week.
Boom.
And that is to help drive foot traffic into our local restaurants during the summertime where they kind of struggle. And so each restaurant that's participating will have their own special burger, whether it's a budget burger or an Instagram burger, as I like to call it. And people around town can go into them and ask for the specific burger and then hashtag and promote it. And that will get that reach of Polk County's foodie scene out there a lot faster. So we're hosting this event so it gives them a chance to announce it and then share all the different ways in restaurants, so that the influencers can kind of team up and go out and we'll have a maximum amount of reach with our community just through our influencer marketing.
When is this?
So this is Tuesday, July 9th. It's going to be at Bar Vasco, which is the rooftop bar on top of 1961, which when we tell people that, there's still a lot of people like at the gym and stuff.
I've never been there.
Yeah,
I
they've
don't
never
know
even
about
heard
it.
of it. They're like, there's a rooftop bar in Lakeland. Yes, there is a rooftop bar here.
It's so new.
It's so new. It's so nice. It is still like super busy and popular, but it's going to be a Tuesday night. So we anticipate there'll be plenty of room for everybody to join. And then the Influencer Academy in-person workshop is going to be on August 3rd. It's a Saturday, definitely starting at 9. We don't know when it's going to end yet, maybe a full day or a half day. But either way, we will be putting that online probably this week. So
That's
people
wonderful.
can buy their tickets for
You're
that.
gonna have a lot of Q&A afterwards as well, I bet.
Yeah, we hope to get it all, but we have a really tight curriculum. We're going to have people come in and teach different things. So it's not going to just be Grant and I. We'll have I don't
Some
say
of our creators know how
Yeah.
to do reels very well.
right, come in and do like they'll teach different segments of the workshop. So how to create reels, reel training, and so we're really excited about that. That's one of the best parts of hosting these events is like we can actually utilize the influencers in the community to come in and put them in a position to teach other creators and just
Get an
continue.
easy start.
Yeah, continue sharing and teaching people. So that's exciting.
Fantastic. So it's influenceracademy.com.
It's theinfluenceracademy.com to stay updated. Everyone should just check the stay updated button in the main menu and they just put their information in and they'll get all the dates, all the times.
Yeah.
That'll come right to them.
But the influencer networking event is on Facebook events, so people can respond and see where it's at and get a reminder when it's popping up. So hopefully everybody can attend that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you coming?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
All right, I put you
Yeah.
on the spot. Let's go.
I think I had interested.
Okay.
I haven't checked with my calendar,
Okay.
Yeah.
but Tuesday night, my son does karate Tuesday nights from 6 to 7.
Okay.
I don't know what time you're thinking.
6 to 9. So you can
6 to
definitely
9.
come after.
I'm kind of after work. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you,
for
Let
having us.
me help promote it some more. Let me
Oh, yeah,
know.
I
and I'll
will.
keep
Yeah, we'll
Send you
promoting.
send
some
you
links.
information.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
Cohatch for letting me use this beautiful room.
Yeah.
I love Cohatch.
This is loosely sponsored by Cohatch.
Yeah.